Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today we're going to talk about its Dominican Republic Weekly, episode 10. And I've run out of fingers now, but episode 10, part 1. And there will be a part 2, but I'm going to have to call it episode 11. We have so much to talk about, but we're going to deal with episode 10 today. Why? We have border issues. Why? We have homicide rates that have been put out. Why? Because we have American Airlines. They are adding more trips to the Dominican Republic, especially Puerto Plata, and another airline is joining in as well. We have a lot to talk about with due respect to tourism and investing. Welcome. Stop Struggling Now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for being here. And again, please share the videos because you never know who's out here needing help or who's looking for information and who can use that information to start your own business, create extra streams of revenue. That's one of the reasons I'm doing the Dominican Republic Weekly. Again, this is episode 10. Thank you so much. This is the October 28th, 2023 edition. Now, let's get into it, shall we? Here it is. You know that border situation with Haiti. Of course, they're signing a pact today to address the crisis with Haiti. This was October 26th. Now, they can sign whatever pact they want. But again, this is going to be a dispute for a little while longer. But anyhow, the event was scheduled for 10:30 a.m. at the National Palace. We don't know the outcome of this. But of course, there has to be some negotiation. Some way, somehow, this is going to have to be resolved because they're neighboring countries, just like your next door neighbor. You don't want to have a problem. You have trade with each other. In the first place, you have your citizens going across the borders to do business or provide for their families. So again, it will be worked out. But just when will it be worked out? So that's very important. Anybody want to make any comments down below, please do so now. Let's get into some other items. American Airlines that I mentioned at the outset began operating new flights to this growing Dominican Republic hotspot. Well, I mentioned it already. It's Puerto Plata, ladies and gentlemen. Massive increase in the frequency of its flights to Puerto Plata. I just want everybody to understand. Do you know when high season is in Dominican Republic? Like most Caribbean islands and even southeastern United States, when it's winter time up north, December, January, February, March, and April, that's prime time in nice warm weather states. Now, in this case, we're talking about an island, Dominican Republic, and they're going to Puerto Plata for the increase, right? With the record number of Americans setting off to explore Dominican Republic this year, American Airlines augmented its flight capacity. And again, December through about April is prime time. So when do you think they're going to start these flights? You guys know when they're going to start the flights. In December, right? That's what's going to happen. And not only are we going to start it from other locations such as Charlotte, but here we are. This December, American Airlines will launch new flights to Puerto Plata from Miami and Charlotte, two key U.S. airports. Moreover, the U.S. carrier will increase the frequency of its departures from Dallas, Fort Worth, their hub, and New York to Puerto Plata. How many more tourists do you think that's going to bring in, ladies and gentlemen? 100,000? 200,000? Who knows? But I would argue if you do that for 4 or 5 months, and it says they're starting December 5th, and will operate the route until early April 2024. So expect new tourism records next year in 2024. Let me know if you disagree. Make a comment down below. All right, here's one of the things that is often overlooked in a lot of the Caribbean nations. Dominican Republic is no different. There is poverty all over the place. The question is, when we're talking about building, we're all excited about visitors, tourism, traffic, and building real estate, starting businesses. But remember, you're probably pushing out people who do not have the money to do what you want to do. So now poverty does not relent in times of prosperity in the Dominican Republic, nor does it in any country, because we have the same problem in America that you do elsewhere. In the DR economy, some mechanisms hinder income distribution during boom times. And the wealthiest 1% concentrates the wealth. Does this seem familiar, ladies and gentlemen? Social inequality has become structural in the Dominican economy, affirms Rosa Cañete Alonso in a special publication by the Academy of Sciences. This is a growing concern all over the place. All right, this isn't just to Latin America, the Caribbean. It's United States. It's everywhere. It's not just there. But this is something we need to be concerned about. So if you're going over there causing or creating, let's just call it what it is. We're creating Larimar. We're creating all these hotels and cruise on lands, and then where the 5 stars are upgrading, spending hundreds of millions of dollars to upgrade their resorts because of the new tourists. But how is that helping people that are in poverty? So now we have to start thinking, are you giving them a nice new place? Are you giving them higher wage jobs than the average? I mean, what are you actually doing to help these people out who could potentially live in places and do live in places like what you see on the screen? All right? Somebody starts thinking maybe we have a little bit of responsibility to bring up our fellow citizenry who actually is part of the ecosystem there that allows you to actually create your business or get your real estate business started. All right, that's the other thing, right? Now, let's keep moving. The homicide rate. I told you guys, if you're on a live stream, one of my friends, I was saying, hey man, going to the DR. He says, oh man, it's like hey, the homicide rate, man. I'm afraid to go to the DR. And I was like, again, dude, seriously, you live in Chicago. Are you seriously telling me you're worried about getting killed in the DR versus getting killed in Chi-Town? Come on, man. Anyhow, homicide rate decreases to 11.8 in the country. But see, the 11.8, we don't know what that means. Is that 11.8% per 100,000 people? Or is it 11.8, like 11 per, what, a million people? I mean, this doesn't tell us a percent. So we have to look a little deeper, right? This is what the National Police offered the information through a press release. All right. So that is nice to know, but let's just go look at some 2023 murder rate numbers right now. Okay. This is based on per 100,000 inhabitants. Number 1, El Salvador, for everybody on podcast. Number 2, Jamaica, man. Number 3, Lesotho. Honduras, number 4. Number 5 is Belize. Number 6 is Venezuela. Number 7 is St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Number 7 is South Africa. Number 8 is St. Kitts and Nevis. Number 9 is Nigeria. And for some reason, number 10 is Bahamas. So again, we're going to round this out just for everybody to see. And I'm going to have a link down below to this murder rate. And I'll have a few links for the government situation as well. I'll have a link for that down below in the description box. I won't have a link for everything. All right. But just so you know, here is the top 30 on the list. All right. Or 20. Is it 20? It's 20. There is no Dominican Republic. And what's even more interesting is there is no Haiti on this list for 2023. All right. Mexico's on the list. Anguilla's on the list. St. Martin's on the list. Brazil's on the list. Colombia's on the list. Guatemala's on the list. St. Lucia's on the list. Dominica's on the list. Trinidad and Tobago's on the list. They're in the top 20, along with the ones I mentioned earlier. So everybody on podcast, not to say anything, but St. Lucia is 21.4. All right. So Dominican Republic is half of that, 11.8. So they must be way down the list as far as countries go. Now, to reiterate, El Salvador is 52. 52 homicides per 100,000. So that's not really 52%. So I shouldn't be saying percentage-wise. St. Lucia, to be clear, is 21.4 homicides per 100,000. All right? So this is not percentage. So when they say 11.8, maybe they were talking about this as 11.8. So that would make a huge difference. All right? So we're not talking about percents. Notice also, America's not on this list, which is very fascinating as well, right? So just think about that while people are saying, oh, I'm scared. I'm like, you've been to other places that you weren't so scared, because a lot of people have been to Mexico, Bahamas, Jamaica, St. Martin. You've been there, Brazil, you've been there, Colombia. These are hot spots a lot of people have been going to lately. They're on the top 20 list, straight out the box. All right, Aerojet. Aerojet arrives in Toronto and becomes the first airline with direct scheduled flights to Canada. Aerojet's, they're bouncing up big, ladies and gentlemen. They're coming out the box. You're going to have to watch this airline. They might have promotions and everything, so you got to go to their website, check it out. They are making things happen. They are getting themselves prepared for the big boom. Inter-island also. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Today, Aerojet makes history by being the first Dominican airline to fly regularly to Canada. So if they're flying regularly to Canada, that means they have to fly regularly back to the Dominican Republic. You have to have a turnaround. It's that simple. All right? 10 countries now, connecting them to more than 10 countries in the Americas: Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Curacao, Aruba, and Colombia, with a low fare airline that does not compromise on service and customer experience. This is great news. Once again, DR, more people are coming. More visitors are coming. Now, if we can only get that open skies agreement, oh my, things are going to be off the chart. Open skies agreement means lower airfare to the island. All right, just keep that in mind. Now, you want to have some events going on? Yes, we do. We want events coming. So therefore, we have to talk about Cana and SBR Sports announce Ironman 70.3 triathlon, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming April 28th, 2024. If you have rentals in Cana, now you know why around April 24th through April 29th and 30th, your rental rate needs to be higher. Just saying. When they have the Heat Awards, the Latin America Music Awards, when they have those in Punta Cana, you need to increase your rates. When it's 2 weeks during Holy Week, it seems like in the month of April, you need to increase your rates. There's things happening on the island that for people, not only will hotels benefit, you'll benefit. Here goes another reason why you can benefit. All right, so I just wanted to point that out. And then we'll end part 1 for our episode 10, because I'm going to make a part 2 because we're going to get more into tourism, but I'm going to end it on tourism. October 25th, health tourism accounts for 3% of visitors to the Dominican Republic. Now, remember, we were talking about medical tourism, wellness tourism, now health tourism. That's why having a hospital nearby that does procedures, surgery, is going to be very, very major in the future. All right? So once you understand that, what does that mean? Santo Domingo, in 2022 alone, the Dominican Republic received for health tourism more than 250,000 tourists, patients. So it's 250,000 patients, doubling the figures reached in 2018. All right? Meanwhile, more than 3% of tourists visiting Dominican Republic territory do so for health and wellness reasons. This is going to rise. This is why a lot of these so-called 5-star resorts and these new real estate resorts, such as Atlantida, such as Vista Cana, such as Larimar, Cruise on Land, Notice they have wellness centers, ladies and gentlemen. This is part of what you need to do. Only one said we're going to have medical services, and that's Larimar. So now you can chill and have your wellness and medical and health all in one location and have five-star hotels. I love the idea. I love it, love it, love it. That means a lot more people may be looking at your location, including the La Romanas, including the Santo Domingos, including the Semanas. But again, stay tuned for episode number 11. It's still going to be 2 drops in one day because we have so much information to discuss. And with all that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, ladies and gentlemen, but if you have information and you can get on the bottom ground floor, that gives you an opportunity. So whatever your mind wants to think, you can think and do. You just have to put yourself in that position. So make sure you go over and visit the Dominican Republic, especially if you're an investor, especially if you're a business, an entrepreneur person, especially if you're thinking about creating a higher wealth for you. Now's the time. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.